Hi. So just finished recording a podcast with Andy, who is a PhD student at University of Copenhagen, Department of Chemistry, and his research is really cool. Artificial intelligence meets nanoscience or nanomaterials. And he basically uses artificial intelligence together, of course, with his team to do the data analysis and basically trying to make future materials, functional materials for the future. And yeah, his journey has been quite fascinating. I think it's the first time we have a guest who is working on these two giant fields, like a merge of these two giant fields, artificial intelligence and nanoscience. So can't wait for you to check out the episode. Hi everyone, I'm Pranoti, your host of Under the Microscope podcast, and today we have with us Andy Soder Anke. I am sure I'm not pronouncing the name properly, who is a PhD student at the Department of Chemistry at the University of Copenhagen. Not in the group which got the Nobel Prize for Chemistry, the click chemistry this year, but in the same department and in the same university in Denmark. So hi, Andy, welcome to Under the Microscope. How are you?
Thank you. How good. Thanks. Thanks for inviting me. Look forward for this.
Happy to have you. I'm really, really happy to have you. One of our last curators is also from your department. And she gave us a sneak peek into the Nobel Prize winning ceremony at the University of Copenhagen, and it was quite heartwarming to see that. And it just coincidentally happened that in the week that she was taking over the account, that the Nobel Prize in Chemistry was announced. And then, of course, we have part of it. I think half of it is going to Uni Copenhagen.
1/3.
1/3. Okay.
Yes.
1/3 is.
Yeah, so it's a third shared among three. Yeah. But it was quite special day, I think. So it has. Yeah, I was there as well. We were actually just eating lunch like normally, and then there was another PhD student. He came in running to the lunchroom, and he just yelled, "Have you seen it? Have you seen it?" Like Morten, he won.
That's so cute.
Then some of us walked to his office, Morten Miller's office, and saw what was going on. And he was just busy answering the phone, and there's so many people. And I think there was not a lot done of work that day for the entire department. It was just one big party.
Hey, celebration is part of work, okay?
Yes. Yeah, but it was quite fascinating. And I talked with one of his PhD students that talked about some of the work that had been done in the group, and yeah,
it's fascinating.
Yeah, it is
really cool. Oh, I'm so happy. Awesome. Let's talk about your research, Andy. Let's do that. So, what do you do? What is your research at University of Copenhagen at the chemistry department? It's not click chemistry. What is it?
No, so I would say it's in materials chemistry. So our goal is to synthesize some new materials that has some functional properties. We normally do that in the lab, and then we take them to synchrotrons, which is like these big rings with electrons moving around where you can get a lot of energy from them, so you can generate X-rays, and we shoot that into our chemistry and follow the reaction while it's happening, using them. And then when we get the data, like obviously we get a lot of data when we have such big machines, then I analyze it with artificial intelligence. And for me, that is really the core of my research, is like how can we make new and better tools to analyze this data.
Okay. Wow. So it's basically artificial intelligence and nanoscience and the material science, like all the expertise coming together to make materials for the future, or functional materials for the future, whatever the application might be. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's very fair to say, and I think that's also what makes it interesting, that nobody can do this kind of research alone, right? You need someone from all fields to come together, and someone that knows about the application, someone that knows about the synchrotrons, the experiments you do, and someone that know about artificial intelligence. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, I've always wondered, so it's good that we met you and we are talking right now, that at the synchrotrons, at the beam time, that you get like whatever 4 or 5 days or 1 week, or you're working 24/7, so you're gathering humongous amount of data. And in order to do the data analysis and also storing the data, you must need like supercomputers and some really sophisticated tools or softwares. So it's really interesting to know that finally, at least for me, I'm getting to know this, that you guys are using machine learning or artificial intelligence to go through this data that you collect at the beamlines. So yeah, that's quite interesting. I always wondered how that works. So that's really cool. So Andy, tell me, your research is super interesting. So how did you end up doing a PhD at University of Copenhagen with artificial intelligence and nanoscience? Like that's a very this is the first time I'm hearing about it. So tell me about your journey.
Yes, I think like my journey is both like super boring and super exciting, because I started the first year of my bachelor like doing some lab work in a materials chemistry group. So the group I'm still in, where we do a lot of nanomaterials. And in the beginning, I was like going a lot in the lab myself to do the synthesis part of it. But I found out that I'm just too clumsy to go to the lab. I gotta be honest, right? And I'm also not patient enough. Like you need a lot of patience to go to lab. So so I really appreciate those that like have those abilities to go to the lab and do synthesis. So actually, I kind of switched over to do more of the experiments. So we went to synchrotrons, and I just found out is super fascinating. Like getting all that data. And I remember my first project, I just got like, it was between 50,000 and 100,000 data sets, like straight away. Wow. And that takes a long time to analyze.
Yeah.
So I kind of began to program more than I already did, and did some more programming courses. And then I found out that I think like through programming, I became more and more aware of AI and what it could do. And then I began to use it, and I found out that it's amazing, like how much it could do for my research. And then I started getting collaborators. I have a really strong collaborator at the Department of Computer Science in Copenhagen. And so we have been working together for the last 3-4 years. So I think from my background is very much from like nanoscience and materials chemistry. And then I moved more and more into, like programming and AI, and now that's most of what I'm doing. See if I can make some new tools to analyze our data. And yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. And I think that's how it's gonna be in the future, or even now. That's that's usually like that's typically the nature of our work, that we started probably our bachelor's or master's was, I don't know, in nanoscience or chemistry or computer science or whatever, and then because these giant fields have to merge or have to cross lines at some points, there are lots of people at these cross sections, having these unique journeys like you've had. That sounds really cool. And why leave Copenhagen if all the amazing talent from around the world is coming to you? I mean, there's no point in leaving, right?
That's right.
Yeah, but there is still, like, after finishing your PhD, you can always, depending on what your plans are, you can move. So, are you from Copenhagen?
No, I'm from a small island called Bornholm. So it's a little bit south from Sweden. It's closer to Sweden than the rest of Denmark. So people that they also like pick a little bit on me because I have a Swedish kind of dialect.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, the eastern part of Denmark.
Nice. And you spoke about synchrotrons. Do you have a favorite one? For whatever reasons, you don't have to disclose your reasons, of course. Do you have a favorite one? You don't have to. I'm just curious.
I think it would be ESAF in Grenoble in France, because it's just so beautiful there.
Yeah.
And it's in a valley with the mountains around it, and
it's just breathtaking, right?
Yeah. No, that's an amazing place.
Fair enough. Okay, that one.
And they also have the cheese fondue. That's I love.
Oh my God, yes. Oh, now is the time for cheese fondue. Winter is coming.
Yeah.
Do you have any beam times coming up anytime soon?
Actually, not right now. I've just been on 2, and now, a little bit more relaxed. Yeah.
Drop me a line next time when you have a beam time at Grenoble, and then I can join you guys as like to record videos and interview you all for science communication.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding, or maybe half kidding. But no, that sounds really cool. I mean, you've had quite a unusual journey from like starting with nanoscience and now you're still working close to nanoscience or nanomaterials, but more of like not the conventional nanoscientists that we have. So I'm curious about your different kinds of experiments, because if you say you're self-proclaimed clumsy, impatient person to do experiments, so what is that one experiment or research project that comes to your mind when I ask you that the most quirky or fun, or the one that you're most proud of? Do you have one? And can you explain it to us in super simple words in the section we call In Other Words?
Yes. I think so. There's kind of the first project that I got involved in where we used AI, but and I think I'm quite proud of the entire process of like learning this AI and then using it on some real data in itself. But also, so what we did there was that we took like a lot of data that was in 3,000 dimensions. So obviously that's something that you would normally have a difficult time like plotting and showing, like seeing what is the similarity of. So all this data was of chemical structures and then also scattering data. And then we could pass it through some AI that compressed it into 2 dimensions.
So from 3,000 dimensions to 2 dimensions.
Yes.
Dude.
And I think that was quite amazing, because that means now you can plot it. You just make 2 axes and you plot it. And then you can get similarities between structures and how they are different. And and so on. So one of those things that we could do was take FCC and HCP structures, which is so you can say an HCP structure is an AB layer, so we call it AB, and an FCC is an ABC. And then normally what you
wait. So what does FCC stand for people who are not aware of these terms?
Yes, it's base-centered cubic and HCP.
Base-centered cubic, yes, that's the name of the crystal structure. Yes. And the ACP?
It's hexagonal closed packed. Yeah.
Right, hexagonal closed packed, so HCP. Yeah. So FCC and HCP, these are the two terms. Okay, sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, that's great. And then, like normally, if you have something in between, so that can be that first you have like A, B, A, but then you get a C or something. So you have something that is not either FCC or HCP, then you normally just call it a stacking fault. And we don't know so much about it, but it is quite difficult to understand them because like 3,000 dimensions, right? But when you compress it to 2 dimensions, in this space you can actually see that the machine also learns that this is something in between FCC and HCP, and you can begin to understand, oh, this stacking fault is different from this one up here, and you can begin to see how much is it similar to other chemical structures. And I think it's quite beautiful where math is like meeting chemistry, and you can begin to
it sounds so cool. I do you have like, I don't know, I mean, of course the 2-dimensional picture or the plot or that graph you must have, but is there a way to visualize these like 3,000 dimensions sort of a data? So basically what I'm looking for is before the analysis, like the raw data, and after the analysis, what came out of it after passing through your amazing machine learning algorithm. Do you have, is that available?
Like, so you're kind of thinking if we didn't have AI, if there would be any other method to do this? That's also interesting. Yes. What I was asking though was any way to visualize, like showing basically like without AI, this data would look like a mess. It would, because you would need to visualize so high dimensions. I have no idea how to do it. Like
3,000 dimensions.
Yes, like normally I would have no idea how to visualize that, but when you pass it through the algorithm and you get it down to 2, then it's just a normal plot as we know it.
Probably a rookie question, probably a stupid question. 3,000 dimensions. So when you say 3,000, so I know the X, Y, Z, and then time can be a dimension, and So what are these 3,000 dimensions that we are talking about here?
So in this case, it's a little bit equivalent to every data point you have in a data set. So if you take just one data set, then you can just plot it as it is so you have like an X dimension and a Y, and then you have 3,000 data points here. But then when you have a lot of data sets, like then let's say you have 1,000 data sets with these 3,000, then it's beginning to be difficult to see similarities and differences.
Right.
Then you take all these 3,000s.
Right.
Then it becomes 3,000 data points or 3,000 dimensions. You compress it to 2 by the use of AI, and that means now you can plot that just as you can visualize it just with a point for each structure or data set or whatever.
Okay. All right. And then when you say dimensions, the 3,000 dimensions, we are not talking about. What was it? I was watching some Marvel movie or something.
Okay, so you could get confused by like, is it the
dimension? Yeah.
So it's not like time, and we don't have a multiverse as they have in Marvel.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
there was the Spider-Man movie, which is like based in Europe, like Venice and wherever. And there is the bad guy is like, I'm from not from this dimension. I'm from a different dimension and version Earth. I don't know, 868 or I don't remember the exact number. So that's not the dimension that we're talking about. No, no, no.
No, that's not how I think about it. But it's I've never thought about that. Maybe I should use it in some talks. So yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are not the dimensions from Avengers. These are the dimensions in not in real. Well, they are in reality. It's not the multiverse. It has nothing to do with astrophysics or anything, and the universe.
No.
It's this tiny universe at the nanoscale that we are looking at, the atoms and the defects and
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. That's, oh my God, that is so cool. Please tell our followers more about this with pictures and please explain in as many words or as many tweets as possible when you're tweeting from the Real Scientist Nano Twitter account. I think this is super fascinating. So it's kind of like I'm getting the feeling, Andy, that you love the research aspect of being a scientist. But what else do you like about being a scientist?
Yeah, I think I very much like that you have a lot of discussions and conversations with colleagues and peers, and yeah. So in research, there is a lot of time dedicated to like discussing science, and I think that motivates me quite a lot. But at the same time, we also have a lot of time to just reflect on our projects alone. So I think that is a quite strong combination that you can do both. I think there's new aspects in my research that pops up in both settings, but I kind of need them together. So when I have discussed a lot with my peers, I need to reflect on it afterwards on my own. And it's quite normal that I take some of my day where I just go for a walk and reflect on my research and or if I have some specific problems that I have to solve. And I don't think it's all jobs in the world where you have that opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely. There is like teamwork or team discussion, stimulating brainstorming or stimulating conversations. But at the same time, you can be independent and you can just process your thoughts, process your theory, so to say, by being independent or by being by yourself. Yeah, you're right. I don't think a lot of jobs in the world allow you to do that, like this balance of the two. Definitely.
Yeah, so sometimes I feel like I'm kind of cheating and not doing work because I just go for 20 minutes walk and like reflect on a problem, but it is much better value of the time than if I didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's necessary. That's how you work. Your work might be taking a walk and doing the thinking while you're walking, and that's okay. That's part of the job.
Yeah.
You have to walk for your job.
Yeah.
I see. So, Andy, other than it sounds to me that you have had amazing research experience so far. I mean, having these amazing talents around you, like surrounded by these experts in their fields. If you had 3 wishes to improve your research experience, what would you ask for? And I'm not promising anything here, okay?
Well, that would have been great.
Let's see, depending on your wishes.
No, I think when you are in academia and working with computers, then you would always wish for more money, more computer power, because it's just a reality that some of the big companies like Meta and Google and they just have money to do research that we can't in academia. And yeah, and it would not be enough with a few extra millions or anything. It's like really large computers you need to do the stuff that they're doing. So of course that would have been a dream to do what I do now, but with the access to the largest computers in the world.
How much does it cost? Tell me a number.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably like it's in the billions, but how many I don't know.
Okay. Okay, so getting access or getting your hands on these amazing supercomputers or these giant computers. Okay, that's your first wish.
I think that would be a dream. I'm not even sure what to use them for yet, but it would be.
We will find ways. We will find why stop at 3,000 dimensions? Go to 3 million dimensions. Hello.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I think the other thing would be to start my own research group. I think I had some amazing opportunities to choose what I'm working with in the group that I'm now, and got a lot of freedom to move into artificial intelligence. And that also, like, yeah, now I appreciate it so much that I would love to have my own research group and be able to do my own research. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. And if you do your own research, then you can either hopefully get the funding for these giant, like, amazing computers, or at least work with the companies or groups who have these kind of tools. Okay, research group is second. Third and last wish. Andy, tell us. Yeah,
I think the last one is probably also a difficult one. Sure. So I told you that I'm impatient, and that's not the best thing in academia, because everything is so slow. So I would love a faster feedback loop, like when you come up with a new idea, do some experiments, analyze the data, and so on. Like, I would like that to happen much faster. Like today, you need to come up with an idea. If you go to synchrotrons to do an experiment, you need to write a proposal. It might take you like a year before you can do the experiment. If you get the time granted, then you do the experiment, you have to analyze the data, write the paper. It can take many years for a project. Yeah.
And by then someone else has already done what you wanted to do.
Yeah, probably. Hopefully not, but it's, it just takes a long time. It would have been amazing if we could cut down on that timing. I think it would be even more fun if
Absolutely.
It only. Yeah.
So the time between ideation and the results, or the data analysis, so to say, to shorten it from years or months to maybe a few. Okay, if you're wishing for it, then maybe a few days.
Yeah, like the best thing would be instantly, right?
Oh, yeah,
that would be amazing, but as fast as possible.
Right.
I think that's one of the good thing about research in AI, because you're not limited to going to a synchrotron and stuff like that. So you can maybe simulate some data, work on that, and thereby the research goes away faster. But then again, like, you can do very cool experiments at synchrotrons that you
can't really simulate.
Yeah, exactly. So
that makes sense. But all three of your wishes, Andy, I think, they seem too far, but I hope that they are not too far in the future, especially getting your research group. And once you have your own research group, then maybe not for every idea, but maybe some of the ideas you can have this accelerated process of the fast turnaround time on, like, validating the different ideas. I wouldn't say your wishes are completely unrealistic. I could see that happening in a few years' time. Why not? Very, very realistic. Awesome, Andy. This has been wonderful. And what can the followers expect in the week that you are tweeting from the Real Scientist Nano account? Tell us, give us a sneak peek into what's coming.
Yeah, so of course they can expect a lot about my research and what I'm doing. But actually, they're lucky that I traveled to New Orleans to a very big machine learning AI conference.
Wow.
That week. So obviously I will tweet live from New Orleans at Neurops and show some of the cool stuff that is happening there. And then the end of the conference, I'm attending a workshop that is about AI for materials discovery.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I will present a poster there as well. So that would be very interesting. So that would kind of be the end of the week.
What is it called? Like a celebration of the end of the week.
Yeah.
That is so cool. That is awesome. I personally am looking forward to your tweets and your time at the conference, and also the week leading to the conference, because it all sounds so cool, so fascinating, your research and the ideas that you have. So this has been amazing, Andy. Thank you very much for speaking with me, and really, really excited to have you on Real Scientist Nano. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm looking forward for the week.
Thank you for listening. To know more about us, do visit our website, thesciencetalk.com, and do consider giving us a review or a rating or follow, depending on wherever you're consuming this content. Thank you very much.